What's up, guys? Skip Africanus here, and welcome back to another Cartridge of the Week episode. This week featuring a round that, in my opinion at least, gets a little too much flack. The once very common, once very popular 25 ACP, or 25 automatic. I've also seen it called 6.35 by 16mm. I believe that's what they call it in Europe. Personally, I've always seen and referred to it myself as 25 auto. But as long as you see one of those names, we're talking about this round right here. So now this round tends to get a lot of flack given its awkward size that sits in between a 22 LR and a 32 ACP, and at a glance you may wonder, well, why settle for this over the other two options? What is the purpose of, this intermediate cartridge in between this 22 LR and 32 ACP? Or at least that's how I had always personally looked at it. However, this cartridge was never meant to be an intermediate between the two, and in a moment we will see that there was actually a very important design feature that would give it this sort of weird size. However, before we go into that, the history, performance, and all that stuff of this very legendary round, we will first do what we always do and take a look at the headstand, which on the top we can see .FC. Standing for Federal Cartridge. This is, of course, produced by Federal. In particular, this one actually comes from a box of American Eagle, and it is a 50 grain loading. And on the bottom, we will see we have 25 auto for the caliber 25 automatic. So now 25 auto was developed by John Moses Browning and put into production in 1905, primarily as a pocket pistol chambering. We mentioned earlier that the cartridge appears to have been an attempt at creating an intermediate between the 22 LR and the 32 ACP, again, going just solely off appearance. However, its actual intent was to be a replacement for the 22 LR. As we all know, the 22 LR is a rimfire caliber, and while they tend to work, a centerfire caliber is still going to be much more reliable, which reliability being something that you, of course, are going to want in the pistol that you rely on for self-defense. However, you can't just take a 22 LR and make it center fire, at least not without making special primers that aren't commercially available. With that, you will of course need to upsize the round until it is big enough to use the more common primers, and that is exactly what Browning did. You see, the 25 ACP's awkward size comes from the fact that it was actually the smallest round that he could make that would still accept the commercially available primers. Now, despite what we think of 25 ACP today, upon its introduction, it would become a wildly popular round for pocket pistols, which, aside from one really weird gun, would be what the cartridge would only find its chambering in. And despite this rather niche role the cartridge would occupy, it would end up actually being what kept it popular for so long, really only starting to fall out of favor in around the 1970s. Now, as mentioned, guns for this chambering, minus one example, actually they found a second example after writing the script, so minus two examples are all pocket pistols. And while there are a few revolvers around, the majority of guns are semi-automatics, and you will notice that a lot of pistols adopted by militaries, like let's say the Mauser Model 1914, would either start off as a 25 ACP pistol or have a variant made alongside it that was in 25 ACP, which was primarily made for the civilian markets. Now, that being said, though 25 ACP would predominantly remain a civilian cartridge, it would find its way into war and police use, being for many a convenient little backup gun. Now, there were of course some that would treat the caliber as little more than something for a backup pistol, with Vasily Blokin, hopefully I pronounced that right, probably holding the record for most rounds of 25 ACP shot, and if he doesn't hold that record, he at least holds the record for most killed with a 25 ACP, as the Walther Model 2 pocket pistol was what he used to carry out 7,000 executions during the Katyn massacre. Now, as mentioned, although the 25 ACP would be a widely popular chambering, by around the 70s it would start to see a decline, and currently there hasn't been any new 25 ACP pistols made commercially in over a decade. However, that being said, 25 ACP does still continue to be offered by nearly all ammo manufacturers, with some even offering self-defense loadings for the caliber. However, as it currently stands, it does appear that this cartridge attempt at replacing the 22 LR has failed, even when it comes to pocket pistol chamberings. Anyways, with all that being said, how exactly does this cartridge perform? Well, on average, you are looking at a 50 grain bullet flying at around 750 feet per second. Now, keep in mind that this is your typical plinking ammo. A lot of the self-defense loads are running 35 grain bullets with much higher velocities at around 900 feet per second. And also keep in mind that this is being tested through very small barrel lengths, around 2 inches or so. And another thing with 25 ACP, given the age of a lot of the pistols, the ammo isn't necessarily loaded to its full potential and tends to be loaded fairly weak. Now, going back into bullet weights, on average you will see the majority of 25 ACP ammo featuring just your regular run-of-the-mill plinking bullet. However, those 35 grainers mentioned earlier were hollow point projectiles, and also keep in mind that there are other bullet weights like 45 grainers, 60 grainers, and according to Wikipedia, there's even a 22 grain plus P loading that sports a 1750 feet per second velocity. Now, I haven't been able to find any info relating to that one. However, that would be pretty impressive if it does exist. Now, the 25 ACP casing itself is a true straight casing with no tapering, unlike, say, a standard 9x19 case, and another feature that it sports is that it is semi-rimmed, meaning that the rim extends just a little wider than the casing itself, however, not as extreme as a rim on, say, a 44 Magnum casing. This was done so that the cartridge could headspace on the rim, something that was very commonly done with semi-automatic pistols back in the day. This also means that should you wish to make a revolver for the caliber, that you won't need some special moon clips or anything, and the cartridge can work just fine being dropped in the cylinder. But anyways, I think that is going to do it for this week's Cartridge Week episode featuring the 25 ACP. I hope y'all enjoy the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and I will see y'all next time.